I can't be the only person who's seeing a major uptick in pro-China propaganda on my social feeds. And the thing is, it's all very bad. I actually wrote something about it. Let me know if you want me to publish it on my Substack. But this is a prime example of some like pro-China propaganda. They're saying, look how safe China is. Billionaire Jack Ma can ride his bike without security. The irony of Chinese propagandists trying to use the story of Jack Ma as proof that China is so safe. It's fucking laughable. Do you know what China did to this man? If you did not know, Jack Ma is the founder and CEO of Alibaba. He is a billionaire a bunch of times over. Alibaba is like the wholesale version of Amazon. So all of the like dumb little trinkets you buy on Amazon were probably sold first to a distributor on Alibaba. So Alibaba is one of the biggest and most important Chinese companies today that allowed China to become such a manufacturing powerhouse because it connects Chinese manufacturers with consumers all over the world. But in 2020, Jack Ma, pictured right here, criticized the CCP for their unfair banking practices. And being that in China, you're not allowed to criticize the government at all, what the CCP did to him, you would consider really, really, really overboard. That's what an actual fascist government is like, by the way. So first, the CCP suspended the IPO of Alibaba's parent company called Ant Group. This was said to be the world's largest IPO at about 37 billion US dollars, but doesn't matter because you can't criticize the CCP. So that was in November of 2020. By December of 2020, the CCP opened up an antitrust investigation into Alibaba, and in April of 2021, they fined Alibaba $2.8 billion. And to put that in perspective, that was 4% of Alibaba's domestic revenue that year. And that was also in the middle of COVID. So there was all this weird craziness going on with the markets and stuff. Again, all for just criticizing CCP banking practices. But it wasn't just unfair monetary practices that the CCP engaged in. They also disappeared Jack Ma. He reappeared in public view, but keeping a low profile a couple months after that. Then they forced him out of his own company. If that's not enough, they also charged him criminally with the equivalent of mischief. That was in April of this year. All for criticizing the banking practices of the Chinese Communist Party in 2020. He's still dealing with this. He's still living through this. But I guess if the narrative fits, they're willing to use him for propaganda purposes. We hear a lot about democracy and authoritarianism and fascism in American politics today. I don't think it's a very effective messaging strategy for the Democrats. I think that they'll move on from that. But this is what actual authoritarianism looks like. Remember when Elon Musk had that spat with Trump a couple months ago and nothing happened to Elon? They made up a few days later. Elon Musk does a lot of business in China. He's never spoken ill of the Chinese because he knows this is what would happen to him. Because this is what happens in actual fascist authoritarian countries. So I hope people realize this about China, but I don't know that they do.